Absolutely Not is normalizing the standard, period. If you bring the whole table, then you can sit with us. We're bringing all the uncomfy combos and creating an unapologetic space to drive the culture forward respectfully. Cause it seems like everyone wants to keep their opinions in the comment section. Absolutely not.
What's up, world? It's your girl Allura back with your favorite podcast, Absolutely Not, hosted by yours truly, a girl with unpopular opinions. Be sure to stay tuned every week for the latest episodes on some of your favorite topics. Today on the show, we have our favorite, Jen C. Will.
Hello. So glad you're back.
Thank you.
Jen's back again, guys.
Again.
She can't get enough of us.
Jen again.
Actually, that has a nice ring to it. It's Jen again. So, Jen, I like what you're wearing today. It's giving loungewear.
It's cozy.
Yes, cozy
Cozy.
girl. It's a cozy girl fall or
Like
winter.
Beyonce cozy.
Yeah.
Like, cozy within my skin.
We kind of match the vibe. You're wearing mauve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mood.
It
But I'm glad to have you back, to say the least. I always like having you on the show.
I love being here. I love this new environment that we're in also.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys noticed.
I definitely noticed.
I am definitely loving the vibe of this new set. It's giving aesthetic, serving all the right things.
It does. It's giving grown woman.
Yes.
But also comfortable.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
And that's my goal. I want you all to feel like you're in my living room.
I love it.
Well, Jen, got a couple questions for you as always.
Okay. I have some questions for you today, too.
Ooh, Jen came prepared. We love to see it. Okay. So, as a woman, do you think that women should have standards?
Most definitely. If not, do you see the mess that's out there? And women already settle for
So much.
so much. But if we don't have the standards, we're not going to be able to decipher who's who.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, to stick to your standards is also important. And that's, to me, is what a lot of women struggle with also.
I agree. I feel like so many women are searching for love to the point that they're so desperate that they'll make anything work, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I do feel like sometimes standards can be a bit superficial, but at the same time, standards were put in place kind of like a rubric where you can look at the checklist, see what ranks in all categories, what kind of falls below, and then from there, when you look at that overall score, you can see like, okay, this guy, he doesn't fit every standard, but I mean, he's at least at 80%.
I think doing a pros and cons chart is important. And it does take sometimes getting to know that person a little bit longer. But those forefront standards that you have for who you're dating, I think it is important to identify those before you start dating. But you said something, women who search for somebody. I don't think we should be searching. I think we should be focusing on what we are doing, our lives, because we do have lives.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that we're going to find love always in an app. I've never been on a dating app.
Girl, I
So-
signed up for Bumble like for
Did
1
you?
second. And I was literally, okay, not like the dating app. Cause
Okay. Hold on. What is Bumble?
Bumble, it's a dating app.
Okay. I thought
but,
it was.
Like, it's more like white people on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wasn't that the one that started by the LGBTQ community and then it expanded to
I honestly have
heterosexual
no idea.
couples?
The only reason why I know about Bumble is because I saw on Twitter that like people were meeting friends on there because they have a
Oh.
thing called Bumble BFFs.
Yes.
And
That's how I
so-
learned about
yes.
it. Yeah. Okay.
So I saw that on Twitter and I was like, you know what? Like, I could use a few new friends. Like, all my friends after college moved back to their hometowns. I am feeling a bit lonely, so let me download Bumble BFFs.
I think that's fine to search for friends.
Yeah.
I totally think that's fine.
It didn't work out.
It didn't?
No.
What happened?
Well, okay, so I'm the problem.
Mm.
Lost to follow up.
What?
So, like, we would start talking or whatever. The vibe would be kind of good. And then we'd make plans to meet up. And then I would just be like, oh, what if it's awkward? Or I always talk
Oh.
myself out of things.
You
so,
overthink
yeah.
things. Okay.
Something that I'm working on. I'm getting better at, actually.
Okay. So have you been on a dating app though?
No.
Never? Okay. That was just the friend part.
You know, I haven't even met guys off Instagram. Like, I always meet people in real life.
No, I do Instagram. I think that's like the way I go is Instagram.
I think Instagram is a good way to kind of weed out the bad ones. Because at least, like, I feel like looking at an Instagram page is kind of like looking at a portfolio. You can see, get a little sense of personality. You can see how they look, how they rate from 1 to 10. And then watching their stories kind of gives you a little peek into what their life is like, what they like to do for fun.
So you can identify your standards. Yeah. What are some of your standards?
Good question. I would say, for me, someone who is not afraid to speak up. Because I hate men that are, I don't want to say timid, but men that kind of just let you talk to them any kind of way. I don't like that. But
Oh, like, what do you mean? Like beta men?
I'm not going to say beta men. I'm not going
I'm
to say
like-
beta men because I do not like the alpha male. But
Oh, you don't? I do.
I mean, they're okay, but alpha men, I feel like, are misogynist.
Not always. Not always.
I found very few alpha men that were feminist.
I have a lot of friends who are alpha males and who support women.
Please introduce me to them so they can be on this show.
Okay. I feel like one of them specifically would love to be on the show. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
So, and he's married and has daughters.
oh, perfect.
so
Perfect candidate.
He's definitely, I went to high school with him.
okay.
He's my photographer, actually. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you met him? Okay.
Yes. He was supposed to go to the Beto campaign with us.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I remember. him.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, there are men out there. It's about the people you know, because he's not the only one I have. He's just the one who I would say could be on the show. So I do think alpha males can position themselves to respect women. It just depends on the man.
I feel like it also takes a little bit of teaching and coachability as well. Because the alpha males that I've seen have like passed the level of being teachable. Like they hate women.
Are they 40?
You know, a few of them are. One in particular, actually.
I think when they're like
No shade.
too far, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
That's so true.
So I don't think it's going to work for that reason. But it also depends on their family life and how their father was and what type of masculine example that they
That was
brought for
set.
them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you know, I'm noticing that with a lot of men, the relationship between the father and the son, like, is not always good. And I feel like that shapes and molds their relationships and how they view and treat women as well.
A lot of women in their relationship with their father, but also their mother, it's the same. Sigmund Freud told us this, right? And how those relationships affect our adult relationships. And then maybe that's the reason I do like alpha men, because my dad was an alpha male.
I would say my dad's an alpha male too, but he's not the kind of like you guys. He's not like that.
So there is a difference. You
Yeah.
see the difference? Okay, that's all I wanted you to see.
And my grandpa's an alpha male too.
So a woman, when she controls a man in the sense of, like, she'll tell him what to do and he does it. Is that what you think is the ones who are the beta males? Like, what is a beta male to you? I just want to know.
That's a good question. I would say those men where you're like, okay, let's go on a date. And he's like, well, where do you want to go? And I'm like, you know, I don't really know. Do you want to go to the movies or do you want to go to, I don't know, Topgolf? And he's just like, well, wherever you want to go. Like, that's,
See, I like men like that.
I mean, yes
'Cause
and
I'm
no, but like,
decisive, though.
I'm indecisive.
As in that's the
I need some
reason.
direction.
Okay.
Like, you need to say that you want to go to Topgolf so I can tell you, actually, no, I really wanted to go to the movies.
Okay. They can't read your mind.
But I don't know what I want until someone else says what they want.
See, that sounds like a middle child. And I'm a middle child, and I don't do that.
You see, I'm the oldest.
See, and that's not oldest energy.
Well, I think my sister's very decisive.
Okay. So
But
maybe
I'm-
it's just a yin and yang. with
Yeah.
y'all. Okay.
'Cause my sister, and she always makes the best decisions. Like, whenever I don't know what to eat, I always call her.
Okay.
And she's
Wow.
like, go to Chipotle. And I'm like, girl, I would have never thought of that.
What does your stomach say?
My stomach is always saying the wrong thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I need something high protein, low carb.
Oh. And
Yeah.
your stomach wants the opposite?
My stomach wants pie tap every day.
Girl,
A kid's meal and a charcuterie board.
I get it. I get it. I love Pie Tap too, so don't get me started.
That is my favorite restaurant. Pie Tap, if you're seeing this, please sponsor me.
And just pizza in general and baked potatoes. Okay,
I love baked potatoes.
I digress.
But I'm really starting to like roasted sweet potatoes.
We just had Thanksgiving, so
Jen has given up on the yams.
I had Indian food for Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I made butter chicken this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. With Greek yogurt. It's not good.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, high protein, low carb. Anyways, I digress.
I digress too.
But yeah, one of my standards is not having someone that I can like push around. Someone that's very decisive. And like the standards that I'm about to list are like basic bare minimum standards, but I still feel like they should be said because I've seen a lot of people lacking.
Okay.
A man who at least has a vehicle.
Okay, yeah.
A man that has a valid place of employment. And I'm not even talking like he doesn't even have to have a 6-figure salary, but he needs to be on a job. It doesn't even have to be corporate, but he needs to be somewhere for at least a few years because the in-between job thing I just cannot do. But I preferably would like someone that works in the corporate world because I do, and I feel like it would work best like for our schedules if we both worked corporate. I feel like corporate is hard for people on the outside to understand because there's a lot that goes on, especially in tech. So I feel like tech is like a frat house.
It is. It's a good old boy system.
Yeah. So I feel like only someone that's in tech or in corporate would understand that. Another standard that I have, okay, I don't know if this qualifies as a standard, but asking me to come to your house on the first date,
That's a standard.
it's giving weird.
It's definitely a standard. I feel like there's not a lot of men who do that. Are there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Netflix and chill is a first date. Like a lot of guys will reach out to you on Instagram or they'll see you in real life and like ask for your number. You'll talk for a little bit. They'll hit you with the what you doing text like over and over again. And then finally like you plan to see each other. And he's like, okay, well, what do you have planned? I'm like, well, we could go to Topgolf. Like, what are you into? And he's like, well, I mean, we could just chill at my house and watch a movie and like get to know each other better.
That's never happened to me.
Really?
Yes.
I think
The energy I give, though, it takes a lot for me to get there.
You
I kind
think
of
so?
I let them run around me for a moment.
I
don't text back.
don't text back either.
Yeah.
But it's
get
not because
busy.
I'm not interested. It's okay, yeah, it's probably because I'm not interested. Because if it is somebody that I do enjoy talking to, I will reply. But with guys specifically, like I don't even try to play hard to get. It just comes off that way because I don't reply. A lot of times I don't see their messages on Instagram. Like if I see you in real life, like I'll speak if I know you, but it's not gonna ever be for a long time. Just like quick, hello, hey,
Here
so
we
good to see
are.
you. Yeah, we should link. But nothing more.
That small talk.
Yeah.
I have the same guys asking me, like, when are you going to let me take you out? When are you going to let me do this? And I'm like,
Now, I will say that the whole Netflix and chill thing was something that I faced a lot when I was younger.
okay. I feel like maybe that's it. I was in a really, like, long-term relationship when I was younger. So I feel like I did bypass
A lot of that.
a lot of that.
Yeah. So, like, I got out of a relationship after I graduated from college. And that relationship that I was in lasted for 5 years, like from the time that I was 15 until I graduated from
long
college.
time.
Yeah. I was for sure, like, I thought I was going to marry him.
Yeah. We always do.
Yeah. But I graduated from college. He and I broke up. And so, like, I immediately started, like, dating guys that I felt were on my level. Guys that had also graduated from college, guys that worked in corporate, guys who were engineers, and like it was the same thing. Like we would start talking, like I would see them in real life, they'd get my number, we chat a little bit, and then okay, if they did take me out on a date, immediately after the date they wanted me to come over their house, and I'm just
That's
like,
weird.
that's exactly. And what I don't understand is why other men don't see a problem with this. I guess it's been so normalized, but to me, I'm not going into a stranger's home.
Exactly. It's a safety issue.
Exactly. Like, have you not heard of Jeffrey Dahmer?
It's a safety issue for sure. Trying to make sure that you have a safe environment is going to be out in public. And let's keep it out in public for another 3 to 4 dates.
Yeah, I would say 3 dates minimum, 5 days max. 5
Yeah.
dates max. My friends and I were talking about this the other day. We were watching some Tyler Perry movie, and the girl wouldn't let the guy come into her house until after the 5th date. But I feel like that's how you truly vet a person. That's how you get a feel for their character. I mean, you're not gonna 100% know if a guy is a creep or not, but at least talking to them, interacting with them in front of people, like, will give you a little sense of where their head is at.
You need some time to do the background check on the person too.
Absolutely.
Like run a full background check before they can be allowed in your house. He
And
might
I
have
even
killed
have
his
one of
last
those
girlfriend.
subscriptions. I have like a background check. I go ahead and type a name in once I meet you, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, he got a few felonies.
We really have to do that, actually. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of men who will con women, especially if the woman is together.
Absolutely.
So I don't blame you. I think that's a big deal. That's a standard. We're going to say that.
Yay, check. So, how do you think that women's standards have evolved over time?
Over time, as in, okay, let me do 2 answers. From when my mom was dating to now. My mom graduated high school in 72 to now. She did not have the opportunities I did. I was able to go to college. My mom went to college, but she went to college after she was married. And her husband paid for it because her dad only paid for her brothers.
Okay.
Right? So her husband paid for it. At that time, my mom's an accountant. So that was her first husband. She ended up doing that at 21, started having kids, and she didn't meet my dad till she was in her 30s. They worked together, actually. And she'd already had 2 kids. He'd already had a daughter himself. I'm a product of a second marriage. And I feel like that is a scenario for a lot of my parents' age group, boomers, I'll say.
Yeah.
Because you did have marriage come a lot sooner than where we're at now, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm at, because I'm in my 30s, I'm in my mid-30s, and I don't have to get married. I don't have to have children. Whereas my mom, it was like like she needed to. It was something that was expected of her from society, right? Even though it's expected from me, I don't have to. For me, I'm so particular when it comes to dating and men. I've never been on a dating app. I've never looked for a man. I always, and I have actually told somebody this the other day, like, I feel like men will always be there.
I agree.
They're
Men
always
will.
going to be somewhere.
I always tell my friends that when they're going back and forth with a guy in particular, I'm like, it took me a while to come to this conclusion myself, but as long as I've lived, there's never been a shortage on men.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons out there. I mean, tons on your level, that's questionable, but we're not running out of men anytime soon.
We're not. And because of that, I think my mentality of, like, I've never, woke up and like, oh man, I don't have a boyfriend. Like, I've never done that. And I know that there are girls who do that. Women my age, my friends, who that's how they feel. They feel crushed that they're single. And I think that right there takes a lot of the pressure off, because I don't do that. It's literally Hakuna Matata.
And you know what, Jen? I came to this realization this year. I am not about to spend my 20s preparing to be someone's wife or looking for a man. the longest relationship you're ever going to have in life and the only one that's guaranteed is the one that you have with yourself.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I don't want to lose like the most intimate and the most important parts of myself chasing someone or looking for something that might not even be promised for
Right.
me. So I'm just going to spend this time like enjoying myself. I'm going to travel. I'm going to hang out with my girlfriends and I'm going to, date, but I'm not going to put so much pressure on myself to follow a timeline when it comes to love. I feel like, to me, I feel like if the idea was given to me, like if I can actually see myself getting married, then it's definitely in the cards for me. But obviously it's not in my timing.
Yeah. You're still young, so.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
much
see
life to
it.
live.
I need to have my money before. I want to be Cruella DeVille, and he's marrying me, trying to marry me for my money. I'm
I
gonna see
love
it.
it. Yeah. Here's the prenup, babe. And you can take my last name while you're at it.
Yeah. Oh, prenup's happening.
Oh, period.
Period. I dated a lawyer, so that was one of the things that I had told him. We're getting a prenup. He didn't want
love
one.
that.
Don't get me started. He didn't want
Ew.
one. And I'm like, you're a lawyer. Why would you say that? Because you want my money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He already saw the potential.
He did.
He saw the vision.
Oh, he knows. He still knows.
So for me, I think that as far as the standards evolving over time, I've noticed that women are demanding so much more from men. Like they have taken time to heal themselves. They're no longer accepting the bare minimum. Like you actually have to bring value in order to even speak to a woman or for her to even give you the time of day. And a lot of men are hurt by that. I'm not quite sure why. I feel like once a man like smells or sees that you know your worth, he immediately tries to humble you.
There's a lot of men who do that.
I don't like that at all.
There are men who are attracted to that, and those are the men who speak my language. If you're attracted to my ambition and it's not something that like scares you to where you don't like anyone trying to put me down, period. You're going to make it right here. You're not going to even get in the door.
Absolutely not.
So, and I'm going to pick up on that energy very easily. So that's not happened to me. But what I will say, I've seen where this has happened for other women who it will just knock them down, the words that a man has said to them, and they can't get it out of their minds. And it affects them for the rest of their life. That's not me. But
I'm
it
the
just
opposite.
happened.
Well, like it will be stuck in my brain, but it's never like something that'll make me sad.
Okay.
I'll definitely ponder over it, but at the end of the day, all of the things that you said about me, like I'm gonna use those as fuel for my ambition. I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna prove you wrong.
What's
And
that
that's for
Beyonce
anybody.
song? Beyonce has that song. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing modified. That one?
Period.
She says that. 'Cause I feel like she's talking to a man in that song.
I feel like Beyonce's always talking to a man.
I think she is.
Like a lot of men have pissed her off. They need to do better by my girl.
But they're jealous of her, and she talks about that jealousy in that song specifically.
And I'm glad that she recognized that because it took me a long time to realize that a man can be jealous of you.
There's a lot of it.
And girl, one problem with these men now, the standards for women have changed because these men want to live a soft life too. These men want to be bad bitches too. And that is the problem with the world.
It's the future.
Like,
it's future.
Alpha men are really just bad bitches in disguise.
It's future. Think about it. Like, you have Future, you have Megan Thee Stallion, and they kind of like
Yeah.
the men who listen to Future and the women who listen to Megan, we're kind of like at a beef with each other. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
And
who can do it
the
best?
Future Hendrix boys or the what were they calling them? The toxic boys.
Yes.
Were trying to like one up the hot girls, or they call themselves the city boys.
Oh, yes.
Trying
That's
to
what it
the
is.
one up the hot girls. I'm like,
Yeah.
please,
They're really trying. And at the end of the day, we do it
better.
with more class.
Yes, and grace.
And you can't see us coming.
No.
You have no idea. We can be the sweetest, most modest looking woman on the planet. And we're going to show our cards in the
Not all
relationship.
at once, though. Not all at once.
Not at once, but in the relationship, that's when we start seeing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Jen, my last question for you. What do you think are 3 questions a woman should never answer when it comes to dating?
For sure, body count. Who does that?
No, seriously.
No one.
If
No
you
one
ask
should
me
be
my
asked.
body
That's
count-
personal.
I'm going to ask you, when was the last time you went to the doctor? How was your last 6-month check?
Well, that's something that should be happening anyways.
I
We don't
agree.
ask that question. That's a question we ask. Okay. And we answer if it's being asked to us also. Like, I will answer that question because I got the proof. When it comes to body count, though, it's like men will try to use that to women to shame. And that upholds the patriarchy. And they will get a sermon out of me.
Now, I have a question for you about that. Do you see the same dynamic with white women versus black women when it comes to body count?
I don't know a lot of white women anymore. Like, like I don't. My family, like I come from a lot of white women. They're like it. Now, it wasn't always like this. I grew up in a like all white church here in Texas, and it was a very progressive church, but it was still all white. And I just always had a lot of like hippie white people around me.
Yeah.
And now I don't as much anymore. Unless I go to church. Yes, I have my church friends, and we don't talk about that. So
Not about body count.
yeah, we're not talking
Not
about
in the house of
that.
the Lord.
So I can't answer that. I really can't. I can assume that based on the statistics that white women get married a lot younger than black women. They say that in your 30s, over half of white women are married, whereas only a third of black women are married, same age group. So, and this is like new data, the latest data. This also, to me, it talks, more about like the marriage and starting families, but it also goes back to education. Like you do have more black women who are graduating at higher rates and
Absolutely.
over white women. And I think that them getting married so young, because it's young, and then black women, focusing on careers and their education, I think that we're just living in two different Americas, really.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Like when people say white women go to college to get their MRS.
Oh, it's true.
And like we
And
actually
I was
be in there
raised
trying to grind.
by white women. I was like brainwashed to think that was going to happen, for me. And then got into the world. I'm like, oh, wait, I'm a black woman. Which I knew I was a black. But it wasn't like the expectations of my cousins and my, sisters and my nieces, even my nieces, have in their life that they have for them, like the expectations is not the same for me. And nobody asked me in my family why I'm not married except one of my aunties. One of my aunties, she'll ask, but she's a boomer, so it's okay.
Like,
Yeah, I forgive her. It's okay. I'm about to sell her house, so it's fine. But I don't get that pressure. But my family is very understanding, and they know what's out there. They know what's up.
My family has never asked me that question either. But they also understand what's out there too.
Yeah,
So
it's
like,
realistic.
especially my dad. He's like, I get it.
Good.
I get it. So I'm grateful for that. But I do think that I grew up kind of in a different reality. Almost like you. I was not raised by white women. But all of the black people in my life that I was centered around and grew up with from childhood had 2-parent households. Their parents were married. My parents had been together at a very young age. They'd been together since they were 13. And so it kind of put this like false sense of relationships and love.
Yeah.
And I grew up thinking like, oh, I'm going to find someone, or the guy that I'm dating right now is my husband, which also comes from like church too.
Oh, yeah.
Which I definitely feel like we should talk about in another episode.
Yeah. Church will do it. If you want to be married, go to church. If you want to be pressured to be married, go to church.
Proverbs 31, babe. But Jen, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me again.
I have one last question for you, and
Okay.
I promise this is it.
Okay.
What do you bring to the table?
I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I don't have nothing to offer
Jen!
anybody. It's like literally like I'm me. I am not, to me, I'm not advertising myself for anyone to like me or be with me or marry me. So I'm in sales. So when I think bringing something to the table, I'm looking at it as a transactional deal, right? I don't see that I have to give myself to somebody and say like, this is how you're going to benefit by being with me. That's not how my mind works. You either like me or you don't. That's
and if
it.
not, you can
You can go. Yeah. Now, when it comes to standards, I have my little list, right? And I know what I deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I know what I deserve is for me is because that is my reflection of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So because I see myself up here, my partner does need to be up here too.
Absolutely.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
What
I
about you?
agree.
Do you feel like you bring anything to the table? This abstract table?
Now, I do feel like I bring the whole table.
Okay.
Like, I'm a catch.
You're the table.
Period.
And where it is. It's where it begins.
Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, not only do I bring the table, but I also own the real estate that it's sitting on.
I
So
love it.
don't ever ask me a question like that. For one, I feel like it's rude because if you see the value in something, you wouldn't have to ask.
Yes.
Which always
have men
trips
asked you
me
that?
up. Never in real life, but always on social media.
Of course.
And I mean, obviously, I feel like that's just another way for alpha men to try and humble you. They try to make you think like, oh, like, do you really deserve everything that you're asking for since you have all of these demands? But at the end of the day, like you said, if I see myself here,
Yeah.
then I deserve everything that comes with being
Well,
up here.
I'm God's child, so I definitely deserve whatever I'm supposed to bring
Absolutely.
and have for myself and in a partner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. These men are bold on the social media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As for me, when being asked what you bring to the table, my question is always absolutely not. We're not even going to address this.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit and spill it out for you.
No. If you can't see the value, then you can say toodles.
Yeah. Usually it's the men who don't have the value.
Those are always the ones that
Yeah.
decide that they want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And
No couth.
yeah, it's always astonishing to me because you'll see them like at the club or at a bar or whenever you go to a restaurant, they'll introduce themselves.
In the passenger seat of their best friend's ride.
Hello. Hello. You find out they never had a car. They live with a roommate, which I'm just
They
not
got
even
like
gonna-
4 baby mamas.
Yeah.
That's the part.
and they're not paying child support.
Or they don't have a job to pay child support. So
And on top of that, they haven't been to the dentist and they have gingivitis and tooth decay.
a lot of men don't go to the dentist.
Girl, that's another one of my
That is-
standards.
Okay. That's a standard for me.
Like, if you do not go to the dentist, please do not talk to me. Like, that is so disgusting. I'm so tired of seeing gingivitis and a fake chain. Like,
I would say I honestly am really big on education. And so I need the person to have gone to college.
I agree.
Like, and I've been called names for having that opinion. But
I have too, girl.
It's about being equally yoked. And so
Mhm.
if I'm somebody who's like focused on making sure kids graduate high school and do something, you don't even have to go to college, but you've done a trade school, you've done something. You
yes.
could be an entrepreneur who didn't go to college. I'm still okay with that.
Yeah,
As long as you are successful.
exactly.
We got to see some success somewhere. Right?
Exactly.
And statistics show that you're going to have a different life compared to people who don't have that educational background. And that's where I'm at. I dated a guy who did not have a college degree. He was an immigrant from France. So I gave him a pass, partly because of that. He was here for visa. He was trying to go to school, but it was hard
Let
for
me
him.
find out you dated Lino
No, his name was not Lino. I don't know who Lino is.
from scratch.
Oh, okay. No. He was wanting to get into like tech and stuff. He was just having trouble with just his immigration status. So I made a pass for him. It's the only guy I've ever dated who didn't have a degree. And I ended up having to break up with him because he was too broke.
Yeah.
He couldn't even buy me tacos.
Tacos are like $1 each. Well, maybe like $3.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Okay.
He can't buy you tacos, babe. He can't even buy you chips at the gas
I
station.
told him, my advice to him was like, focus on your school, focus on your career. You shouldn't be dating right now. Broke men shouldn't date.
Oh my gosh. There we go. That's the
Broke
one.
women shouldn't date either.
I agree.
But broke men really shouldn't date because it's about the courting process, and usually men are the ones paying
that
for
have to,
things.
yeah. Well, I don't know if they really feel that way anymore.
The men I do. Any man of mine, Shania Twain.
I was talking to my neighbor the other day. We were just talking about dating, and he said that he met a woman. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, when are you guys going out? And he was just like, I don't know. I texted her to see when she was going to take me out. And I was like, excuse me?
Then they're not going out.
That's what I said. I was like, if you would have came at me that way, blocked.
Yeah.
Never speaking with you again.
They're
Not
not
even if
going
I see
out.
you in public.
They're not going out.
Yeah. I'm
not
just
happening.
like, these men want to be bad bitches. Like,
They do.
God said, he who finds a woman finds a good thing.
Or wife. Finds a wife.
Might be wife.
Is a wife.
Yeah. He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Because they always use it.
Yeah.
They always use that. With
But
engagement
men are
photos.
trying to act like they're the prize. And I'm just like, that's not what was written.
That's not what my daddy taught me.
That's not how it goes.
That's not
No.
my mentality. I do believe I'm the prize. But I think there's something so powerful about being a beautiful, wealthy, single woman. It's very powerful.
And those are the women that inspire me, like Oprah Winfrey.
I mean, Oprah and Stedman were in a relationship. They're still in a relationship.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, you can't forget.
See, Oprah's a Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah,
Her
she's-
husband is the side character.
She's not married. She doesn't believe in.
Her man is
Her
the
man.
side character.
It's her partner. She calls it.
A
And
life partnership. I like that.
she, so her stepson graduated the same year as my oldest sister from MacArthur High School, 1993. And I know. So Oprah was at the graduation. I had chicken pox. I was 5. I had chicken pox. I couldn't go. But my sister went, and my mom has pictures of my sister holding Oprah's hand at this graduation. So she was an active, like, bonus mom, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine, like, going to your boyfriend's or your partner's son's graduation, and you're getting all the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say? She's a bad bitch.
But she is.
Yeah,
And
she's that girl.
Even then, she had a cream matching
Two-piece set? Or
two-piece set. It was a skirt set, and then she had the little hat, the Oprah hat.
Oh, yes.
Oprah, the 90s Oprah hat.
It was giving
Yeah.
style. She
Yeah.
was serving everything.
But she is an example of somebody who, like, she had her money, and I think it was more about a legality reason why she didn't want to get married. Because, I mean, they're in love.
And for people that are in the industry, I do think that's a big thing to consider.
Mhm.
Like, there's a lot at stake if you do decide to
And keep
merge
it
your
private.
lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely, if like I were to be in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
definitely keep it private. And I would probably consider life partnership as well.
Yeah? You wouldn't want to get married? I feel like you want a wedding.
Okay, so here's the tea. I've really been putting a lot of thought into this. Yes, marriage. Like, I want to have a wedding, but it's going to be a life partnership ceremony. Hear me
Okay.
out. Everything just like the wedding, but no paper.
So, what about, like, because what weddings or what marriage is, it's a covenant between you, God, and the person.
Mm-hmm.
So, historically, we'd have bloodshed. So, if you look at, like, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they went and got tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
That's an example of, like, the bloodshed that, like, seals the covenant. I would do something like that.
There will be no bloodshed.
There would be
absolutely not.
It's
No,
a covenant.
The tattoo's permanent. Relationships are not.
Yes.
Every day on the Shade Room, I look up Tia and Corey broke my heart.
Oh, yeah.
So no, there will be no bloodshed
Yeah.
or anything like that.
My ex is his cousin. And when we were in college, they got an invitation to the wedding. Like, I remember the invitation, like, on their fridge. And I just was obsessed with the game because I was in college when the game came out.
too.
And I just remember, like, can I come with y'all?
Please,
They didn't let me come.
please let me see med school.
It was a more private wedding, so I didn't get to go. I couldn't go. But
Aw.
yeah, that's his. I don't know what happened there.
That
but
like broke my heart. But I hope her and Derwin get back together.
Pooch-Haw? You talking about Pooch-Haw? No, Pooch-Haw.
I'm just
Let me
kidding,
tell you
girl.
about Pooch-Haw. I know things about Pooch-Haw.
Girl, he's mean.
He's well, in the past, I know he's married, right?
Mhm.
In the past,
He has kids too.
he has kids, but I don't think he's been very faithful, especially in the beginning.
Oh my gosh.
I have friends.
Not the Drew Sidora thing was real.
I don't know. I don't know nothing. I think that with Tia, she looks happier right now, though.
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a catch-22. She does look happy, but at the same time, I feel
She
like
looks so happy.
it kind of also looks forced. Like,
I'm
when you
not.
try to, like, tell yourself, like, I'm good without him. I don't need a man. And, like, you're really still kind of crying behind closed doors.
Sometimes those closed doors is just chilling, and there's no tears though. Sometimes, like, you really do feel like you don't need a man. I don't know. I feel like when you've been through enough, you're like, all right. Like Lala. Lala says she's never getting married again.
That's true.
So I
feel
think
like-
it comes to like a point where you've been married, you get divorced, you find your peace. You kind of want to stay with your peace.
I agree.
That's
And nobody wants to go through that grieving process all over again.
who would want that?
Yeah, it's just entirely too much.
And men die before women, so that's gonna be a grief down the line, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Jen, thank you for being a part of Absolutely Not once again.
Thank you for having me.
It's always awesome having these conversations with you. And I hope that you'll join us again soon.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to tune in every week for new episodes featuring your favorite topics. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at It's Alora's World.